Welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm your host, Verdel Jones. And being an educator at heart, I'm dedicated to sharing conversations that inform and enlighten in the hopes that you learn something you may not have known. So welcome to the show. We're here live at Paradise Studios on the Strong Island Television Network. So make sure you share and like this show so everybody can check out what we're doing here. So we're in season 5, and season 5 is about embracing your life. And for this winter season, we're talking about gratitude and what we're grateful for. We can be seen every second and fourth Thursday live here. 6:30, we have great guests and always great conversations. We can also now be seen on Roku on the Strong Island Entertainment channel, so you can check us out there and check out all of the awesome shows that are on the network as well. So make sure you tune into that if you have Roku. We are looking for partner sponsors. You know, we have some great content that we share with individuals. As I always say, I want people to come away with something, knowing something, or learning something. So if you are interested in supporting good content or being a guest on the show, you can check me out. Give me a ring. I just want to let you know that Conversations with Verdel Jones is now on the Rewind Network. So we're going to be broadcasting on Comcast in D.C., Pennsylvania, and Delaware, and soon to be Atlanta. So we are really excited about that. So on today's show, we're celebrating Black History Month, and my guests today are dedicated to Black excellence and celebrating African American culture and seeing that we advance in our communities in a positive way. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to welcome our first guest. Yeah.
The opportunity to see what it looks like and be a part of it.
Welcome back to Conversations with Verdel Jones. As you see, I have my first guest here, Jason Richberg. He is campaigning to become the next Suffolk County Legislator for the 15th District in New York. Welcome to the show. What are you grateful for?
You know, I'm just grateful for opportunities. A lot of times we don't take stock of the things that we are given or we have opportunity to just have.
Right.
You know, a lot of us don't realize that we are more fortunate than a majority of the rest of the world.
Right. Absolutely.
The fact that we're able to wake up and turn on a faucet and water comes out is a lot better than a lot of folks. More than half of the population of the planet. So I'm just grateful for these opportunities.
Right.
But more importantly, I'm grateful for the chance to make a change in somebody else's life.
Right.
You know, I mentor a number of different groups, and I have conversations with folks, and just sometimes that one conversation that you have with them, you never know where it's going to change, and you never know not only that, but how it's going to affect them 5, 10, 15 years later.
Absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned that. I'm a teacher, always a teacher, administrator now, but I'm still always a teacher.
Right.
And I had a student that at my daughter's event, I had her in Baldwin years and years ago. She came up to me and she was like, Miss Jones, you encouraged me to be an entrepreneur. So it's like things like that. You never know what little things you do for people will really have impact.
You're right.
Yeah. So you are running to move Suffolk forward.
Yes, I am.
And what does that mean?
So what that means to me is that there isn't a left or a right way to do things. I think a lot of times we get caught talking at each other instead of with each other.
Okay.
And so when that happens, we get lost on the 15 things that we don't agree on, instead of the 3 things that we do agree on.
That we come together on.
And so that's what my whole focus is on. Like, let's have conversations with folks. I've been knocking on doors all over the district, and really talking to people.
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or a libertarian. You know, the thing is that we all have an investment in the community, and
Yeah.
because of that, we need to figure out where we all agree, and then we can move forward. You know, it doesn't matter what I want to do or what your perspective is. It really matters what the collective, what the people need, and what the people want.
Right. So now you are the clerk for the Suffolk County Legislator,
I'm the
right?
first African American to be in that position.
Okay. Wow. So how does that experience, and how long have you done that, and how will that experience help you as a county legislator?
So I've been in this role as clerk for 5 years.
Okay.
And so there's not a piece of legislation, a report, a document that comes to the legislature over the last 6 years, because I was chief deputy clerk before that,
Okay.
that I haven't seen.
Right.
So, you know, when it comes to sitting in the operating budget working groups, I have to sit there, take the votes, and I get to listen to how decisions are made.
So you're there. Right.
I'm sitting in the room.
Right. You're doing it really,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, you're learning, and you take all that information in. What is the biggest challenge in the 15th district?
I think the biggest challenge is accessibility.
Okay.
I think a lot of things we're not accessible to a lot of people, and because the county is not accessible. The only county service that's in the district is the legislator's office.
Interesting.
So there's not a DPW site, there's not a county park, there's none of there's town things in the
Right.
but there's nothing from the county. So a lot of times, especially when I was working in district office, you know, people would come in and say, "I hear you help people."
Right.
And that's, you know, being accessible to folks is important. Making sure we reach out and have those conversations and keep folks in their homes and helping them navigate with the
Right.
complex area that is government. Like, that's what's important. And that's why I
Right.
say accessibility.
Accessibility, and giving people that knowledge, because they just
Exactly.
don't know, what a county legislator can help them with.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter if it's in the county when I was the chief of staff, it didn't matter if it's something that the county doesn't do. What I would do is I'd find the person who can do
That's
it,
right.
and then walk you through it. And if you come back to me and say, "Oh, well, that person didn't help you," well, now I have a problem with that
Right.
person, and now we have to figure out why.
And
Exactly.
work that out. So you're a North Babylon High School graduate.
Yes, I am.
You went to HBCU,
Wilberforce
University.
Yes, the first historically black private university in the nation.
Nice. Your husband, your father, and definitely community advocate. What has been your proudest or biggest accomplishment in working with the community?
I think it happens every day. So either with the youth caucus that we started about 10 years ago, or with the PAGE program that I started about 5-6 years, it's going to be our 6th year. Just hearing back from our students. We have some videos about to come out with some of the young men and young women who I've helped over the past time, and just hearing where they are now. You know, I have a former intern who sat in the impeachment hearing.
Oh, wow.
I have another intern who's in the middle in their 2nd year of law school. You know, I have another. I mean, I can go on and on and on about who, you know, these kids are, and sometimes I call them my kids because my wife, we had kids before we had kids. But that's what I think is great is that, you know, anytime I think that, you know, oh man, this has just been a hard day or whatever, I see something on Facebook or you know, I see one of my kids or one of their parents come to me and say, you know, such and such, you know, they're doing a great job. They just got a job in HR in DC, or you know, they're working for this lobbyist firm or whatever. And that wouldn't have happened if you didn't talk to them that one day.
That's right. Yeah, it makes a difference. It really, really does. What are some issues that you're passionate about?
So I think leadership development is really important. I think, you know, the environment, especially in our district, especially because we're right on the water. You know, you saw, or I don't know if you know, but President Trump just pulled some of the dredge equipment out that was fixing our South Shore. He sent it down to Florida. You know, Suffolk County has always been a leader in environmental policy, and I think, you know, because of that, that's one of the things that's really important. You know, sewering our county, 70% of our county does not have sewers. So
really?
Yes. You know, so in order to sewer the whole county, it costs almost like $30 billion to do that.
Wow.
So we were able to fight to make sure that the North Babylon community, Northwest Babylon community, was able to get sewers.
Wow.
You know, So those are a couple of issues, public safety, not only dealing with the police aspect and the deputy sheriffs and the like, but also the health aspect. You see that we have this coronavirus outbreak.
Yes.
I had a conversation with Dr. Piggott, who's the new commissioner of health, earlier today, and he was saying...
Newly appointed, right?
Newly appointed.
Yeah.
He
I watched the feed.
The legislatures always have a live feed. But he said, out of the firing pan into the fire, he said, I'm in the job not even a week,
right.
and now he's got to deal with a scare. And these are things that are really important that the county does that not everybody knows. The folks who measure to make sure you have the right amount of gas in your tank, that's the county. The folks who check the balances at the supermarket is the county.
Right.
All those things happen at the county level.
Yeah. So the special election is coming up.
Yes, March 10th.
Yes, let everybody know March 10th.
March 10th, and early vote starts February 29th. So this Saturday is starting
early voting.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
For every election from now on, there will be an early
even
vote.
Special elections.
Even special
elections. That's great. So you would go to your normal polling place?
So the Board of Elections will probably set up a polling place for the special elections.
Special elections. I got you.
Just for early vote. Your normal polling.
On March 10th, that's your normal polling place? Right, okay. So how do you want to improve the life of, you talked about, various things, but how does the county legislator or in the 15th district, how do you improve the life of individuals? Like, what is it tangible that people could say, oh, my county legislator can do that?
So county roads is definitely an easy thing. Infrastructure. Making sure that our water quality is up. Communicating with our law enforcement and to making sure we're all held accountable to the right standard. Creating programs. There was nothing that I did in the legislator's office that, when I was working for Dwayne, he gave us a lot of authority to sort of do things and innovate. We would do Know Your Rights seminars, and just so people know what they can do when they go to, have a financial services person, or when they're meeting with DSS, or when they're having, because a lot of times the main thing people need to know is how to navigate. There's a reason why when you got the newest smartphone, the first app on there is navigation. Right. Because people don't know how to get places. And sometimes government is very slow and cumbersome, and you don't know how to navigate it. And when you don't know how to navigate it, it becomes frustrating. And then it's frustrating for you, and it's frustrating for the person who's serving you at the same time. And so then you're just creating this it's just intense friction, which doesn't help. Right.
So I went to an event yesterday. My daughter's, launched the website, and it kind of centers around, part of it is diversity, but it's also millennials. Right. So what would you say to millennials about staying on Long Island? We talked about, how we always talk about housing and how, it's not affordable. So what would you say to millennials about staying here and building a family?
So I know your daughter is actually working with the Urban League to start back the Urban League Young Professionals.
Yes.
And so I was a former vice president of the Urban League Young Professionals. So I would say the first step is you need to network with other folks. And I think, there are organizations that have come together, but I think we need to hear more about what's important. I think the other part is that when you talk about affordability is that there isn't the quantity of places for people to live. Right. So because there's not a quantity, the market will dictate that the rent is higher than it should be. Right? And so that forces folks, because there is cheaper rents, but that forces folks to then live in a one room rent a room type situation, which isn't legal. But I think the most important thing is we need to hear from you. I hand out my cell phone number to everyone, because I want to have these conversations so I know how to advocate best. Because I know my perspective. My perspective is I don't think you should pay rent in the same amount of money that you could pay for a mortgage, right? But I think we also need to modernize our codes. Like, we need to work with our town partners to say, well, maybe houses that you could that folks can live, like 3 or 4 people could live in a house, is a better alternative, right? Especially when you have a number of folks who can't afford their mortgages at this point in time, because maybe they took out their mortgage at a point in time where they're making more money than they are now. And so now we need to revisit what we're really doing. I think we really have to take a wholehearted look at everything that we're doing, diagnose the problem, and then move forward.
Exactly. So how can people support you?
So, I mean, we're always looking for folks to knock on doors, have conversations.
Okay.
This Saturday at 74 East Sunrise Highway at Babylon Democratic Headquarters, we're having a rally, and then we're going to get out and start knocking on doors and making phone calls and the like. But, you know, you can come to our website, jasonrichberg.com, JASONRICHBERG.com, and you can click the volunteer link, and somebody will be following up with you. Also, my email, richbergforsuffolk@gmail.com. You can reach out to me there as well, and someone will get back to you. And use any of those links to just communicate. I want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of folks reach out to me. I've had a lot of conversation, especially over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and it's good conversation because then I learn more about what everybody needs.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you for having
Conversations.
me. Thank you. I hope it's not the last time.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
So.